Beautiful intro, to be fair. I like it. Hello and welcome guys to today's video where we're going to be looking at the live stream thing that Slytherin had. So obviously if you missed it, then here's the perfect place for you. We're going to be looking at some of the things they say. Obviously I am going to make it a condensed highlight reel and some wins and some losses and ultimately my opinions on it. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, cool little logo like the lizard. Win. But sadly, secondly, they weren't 5 minutes early. Very poor drills from a military game. Loss. And this is what one of my guys wrote on Discord, which I think is pretty funny, so I'll share it with you. If you look to the bottom right of the screen, you can see the comments, and I think some of them are pretty funny and deserve some credit. I mean, this comments began spammed with stuff saying like, nerf RU. Nerf the Barbarous, make it 500 points, and make it ballistic missile was one of my favorites. So yeah, win for the comment section right there. So I got confused, I thought that was Felix. So I missed who it was at the start, so I googled Felix developer. Yeah, and these are the results I got, which I think is pretty funny, by the way. But anyway, I think that's a guy who works for Slytherin, so yeah. Anyway, if you know who the guy is, please do let me know in the comments below. All I know is he had a terrible mic and it kept, you know, making lots of noise. Anyway, he talks for a while. He introduces, says some key buzzwords about how synergy and all that amazing stuff. All the usual, you know, marketing chat. And then he introduces Felix and I think it's Nikita. But again, I might have missed the name there. So again, please let me know if, well, who these fine two chaps are in the comments below, but oh my god, look at that beard. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I don't want to be rude or anything, but like, these guys do look exactly what I expected computer devs to look like, especially the guy on the right. But anyway, that beard is a win, for sure. Now, I think one thing probably everybody notices is the fact that Felix had a lot to say, whereas Nikita, yeah, not so much. So it's pretty funny just sitting there. So after a bit more chatting, we finally get to the thing we've really waited for, the roadmap for the future. Let's take a look at it in closer details, and there's a lot to absorb from this thing, so let's break it down into sections. First is a quick little brief recap of what they've done so far, which are major features, and I say major in inverted brackets, because penalties for leavers, surrender vote, and, well, anti-cheat sounds like basic, elementary features to me, and a lot of guys are in the comments on the right-hand side, and on my Discord agree. I mean, yeah, it's weird to brag about having, well, it's actually kind of like showing off the things that you didn't have upon launch of the game. So that's a little bit disappointing that, yeah, if you think about it, in the past 6 months, we really have had no major features. The ally AI bots and skirmish is apparently a work in progress, and that's really all they say for a little bit of a recap of the year 2025, 6 months after the game has launched, which was what, 16th, 19th of June? So yeah, quite a while ago now, damn. And this channel's been going since then. It's been growing, so a massive thank you for you guys for your support throughout all the time, and a massive thank you to the sponsors who are on the screen right now. Cheers. Now, on the right-hand side here, I'll zoom it in, you can see the comments, and unfortunately, since I've not been logged into Slytherin's Twitch, for more than a month, I was not able to do so. However, a bit of hate for Felix right there, and LD apparently called the 2026 updates. So interesting. But yeah, it was a bit frustrating that you couldn't even comment or ask questions during the show. Another loss there. So next up is talking about what 2026 has in store for us. So yeah, an entire year, and what all we have planned on the roadmap is 3 DLCs and some, well, I guess technical fixes and a few new features. Let's talk about the DLCs for starters. So the good news is that later on in the interview, it's confirmed that the first DLC is going to be free, which is great. I think a lot of people would be really annoyed if after all this time, after that expensive price tag that we all paid at the start for the game, if the first DLC would not be free. Don't know about the second and third, But yeah, let's look at the pictures as well. Do the thumbnails give us any clues? So obviously in the first one we just seen Mac Rifleman dismounting from the back of a Bradley, is that? Yeah, so nothing new there. In the second one, however, I think we see a Smirch or Tornado, but are those the normal shells? I think they are, so there's nothing there either. However, in the third one, we see a Prowler. So yeah, but this time it's dropping bombs. So that is a little hint about some of the future units that we're going to get. Now, it's amazing that they've already started work on those, because we know that there's a lot of units that are actually in the game, but not actually in the game. Not just in the scenario editor, but stuff like, thumbnails and leaked files that people have found of a lot of missing units that just haven't actually made the game's release. A perfect example of this, by the way, is the F-14 Tomcat. We saw pictures and posters of it pre-release. I'm pretty sure I saw it in one of the trailers, again, way before the game's release. So we know it's definitely in there, but for one reason or another, it's actually not made release. So yeah, a bit frustrating. It does feel like, these updates could have come out a bit sooner. I mean, again, it's been, I keep saying 6 months. I suppose it's closer to 5. It's 5.5 months, right? But I'm going to round it up to 6. It's got a nicer ring to it. So, 1 month to go till Christmas, by the way. Anyway, yeah, it's been 6 months and we've not had any major updates. Like, yeah, we've had fixes, we've had balancing, but we've not actually had anything really, apart from the CRAM, anything new, which is a bit disappointing after the huge successful launch of the game and the dwindling fan base, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, we know there's a lot in there. I don't know why it's taking so long to actually release it. Let's talk about the other features. We've got save games. I know people have been, I can't believe they did a multiplayer without a save game feature already built in, but that's, apparently it's hard to retrospectively put that in, is what they were saying. Massive network, yeah. So again, one thing they were talking about was replays, and it was quite interesting to hear the dev's perspective on this, because I'm not a dev. I'm just a soldier boy and a YouTuber, I suppose, if you want to call me that, feel free. Yeah, so I don't really understand the technical side of things, but apparently, one of their major mistakes was doing a lot of client-side stuff, which obviously exposed, it led to a lot of cheating, because if you have client-controlled server stuff, yeah, obviously the client can change it and the server doesn't know any different. So they're moving that all across to server authority, which makes sense. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's like, is this the first game you've ever designed? I don't know much about developing, but surely that is the only way it could possibly reasonably work. But again, I'm not a dev, so whatever. And with that move to server-side authority, they're going to look at replays. So yeah, they're already working on it, and replays are good. I don't think those are, my personal priority. You might have seen the video where I talk about the top 5 issues. I list the top 5 issues, which actually, let me go through that once again. So, quick recap, I say my top 5 issues with the game are technical issues like smoke and, things missing, things not firing, etc. The overkill mechanic not working properly, arty and cruise missile spam, which doesn't feature on their list of priorities whatsoever, feeble cannons, so, tanks doing basically minimal damage to light armored vehicles like Humvees and the likes, and whinging, which I mean basically toxic people and listening to people on Reddit, which they do actually talk about, but I'll get to that later. So yeah, it is slightly concerning that, the top 5 issues that I've talked about aren't in their plans for next year as major features. Now, they do have minor features that obviously they talk about, but to me, I don't know, I feel like those are top priorities, getting those things straight is probably a bigger priority than getting, I don't know, replays. In all fairness, save games, I do think they're super important, don't get me wrong, I just don't think they're as important as the other issues that I've just listed, but hey, each to their own. Now, what they do critically mention is the fact that they admit, in terms of the whinging, that they listened probably a bit too much to, when the game first released, to comments on YouTube, on, the forums, Reddit, etc., and they didn't have solid stats to look at, which, you know, fair enough, you can admit your mistakes, but I also wonder, why didn't you just watch, like, YouTube videos of the most popular YouTubers? I know I'm a small timer, don't get me wrong, but people like Vulcan, people like Bolt Source, you know, those are the guys that I was watching, and before I started this channel, and I love their multiplayer battles. Yeah, they talk about what their priorities are, where their fan base is, and I think literally just for what the biggest YouTubers are talking about, that, let's be honest, is a very good indication. So I do sympathize that they didn't have the stats, but I feel like there's a bit of naivety there that quickly got overlooked, and sort of, yeah, a really poor explanation in my opinion. So yeah, we'll have to give it another loss there. And another loss, actually. So 2 losses for the fact that none of my major concerns are on here. Now, come on, let's not make this too negative. I really love this game, right? And it really does pain me to say negative stuff, but the writing is kind of on the wall, come on. Right, anyway, let's talk about the positives. Loitering ammunition. Now that is cool. That is basically stuff like drones. Like a drone up in the air, loitering, sees a target, drops the missile, goes home. Yeah, essentially most commonly known as drones. I mean, there's other little types here and there, but that's what it is. So that's a pretty cool feature. I think a highly requested feature, obviously a very essential part of the modern battlefield. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that comes into play. Loitering ammunition will be really cool. Co-op campaign, yeah, that's great. I don't particularly care. When I'm doing a campaign, I probably want to just enjoy it all to myself. Spectator mode. Now, myself, a lot of other guys, and you know, another YouTuber like Shark, for example, we've been talking about this for ages. I really don't understand how hard it is to just add a simple watching mechanic, or, you know, preferably for me, obviously being an officer, I like to command, I don't like to micro, I like to macro a bit more. Play as a general, so like obviously a general, 5 officers, they do their thing, and the general leads the 5. I think that would be really interesting to see, and I'm actually going to try and do this on Saturday on my Discord as an event. Obviously it's going to be 4v4 with 2 captains as the 5th player, just on spectator only. So yeah, it's going to be basically something we're going to try out, but in a bit of a more limited capacity. If you're wanting to take part, then join my Discord. The link is in the description, as always, down below. But yeah, cool features, very necessary. So yeah, that is the quick look at 2026. Pretty good, but let's be honest, the entire year, I kind of want a bit more than just this. I mean, these are kind of like talking about basics. Again, yeah, major features, but they're, well, let's be honest, basic features of an RTS, and some things that, let's be honest, I wish we had. I did say it's a month to go till Christmas, and Christ, would it be that difficult to implement, you know, one of the specializations as a Christmas present? I didn't think so. I think that would have been a really nice, classy touch, and I know they've already got the units there, so another loss point, in my opinion. I think one of my Discord members, Nicholas Quest, sums it up pretty well. And actually now's a good time to have a look at what other people are saying about the game. So yeah, too little, too late. They're lucky they don't have competition. And I mean, I agree. There's a lot of negative comments about this video, and it's really hard to stay positive when watching stuff like this. Also, why does Felix keep moving his hands? It's really weird the way he crosses them, not gonna lie. Felix, if you ever watch this video, please stop doing it. It's really creepy. You're creeping me out, mate. Right, let's try to stay positive, come on, and hopefully get some more win points, because we're lacking quite a few. Let's have a look at the planned quality of life improvements. Now, the devs were very careful to say that this isn't in any particular order. All of these things are, you know, will be fixed when they get fixed. It might be simultaneous, it might not be. I mean, let's be honest, I'm not a dev, but I can read through bullshit. Let's be honest, the easy jobs are going to get done first, and then the hard ones will be done not first, aka whenever they can be bothered to do it. Because yeah, I understand how people work, and yeah, I know that it's demoralizing putting in loads of effort for seeing not much return. What they've already started working on is an updated victory screen. I don't think there's too much problem with the current one, but hey, why not? Let's hopefully make it better. Match history, I don't know what that means. They didn't really explain it. I mean, if they mean the replay system, then Yeah, great. I mean, that's already been talked about. It will be coming in the next year, no time soon. Battle chat expansion for better situational awareness. Now, yeah, you know what? That's a win. Woohoo! Finally another win. We were sort of stagnating there, but yeah, I quite like that. I quite like that, and I think that's going to make it just a little bit easier to micromanage when you get audio or visual, potentially, prompts about certain things, like tactical nuke inbound, like, you know, like on Call of Duty. That is a win. I like that. Improved communication marker system. I actually like having 4. They're pretty easy. If you use them correctly, like you should be doing, then, you know, it works super duper well. Access to chat during preparation phase. Yeah, well, remember the good old times when people could draw on the map before, you know, now you have to put the little symbols before you could draw on the map. And let's be honest, people just drew cocks, swastikas, and or just blacked out the whole screen. So yeah, yeah, I guess maybe chatting early is a good idea, but let's be honest, the best way to play this game is in a 5-stack. Discord's the place for that. Again, feel free to join mine. It's pretty good. We've got a lot of nice, pleasant people on there that aren't dicks. Unit statistics, great. I do love unit stats. You know what? Is that a win? Oh, I'm not sure. It depends how well they actually implement it. Unit Ghost UI, don't think there's many issues, but sure. I'll come back to this line of sight one. Offline skirmish lobbies. Yeah, I'm not too bothered. I play online multiplayer most of the time. Weapon range visualization, that could be an interesting one. Minimap improvement, I rarely use it. And prevent label overlap. Yeah, sure. Right, okay, there's only one win in there, and that's battle chatter. Now let's talk about line of sight. Now I am disappointed that this hasn't already been started. I'm actually, well, you know what, it's an instant loss. How the hell has this not been started, and how the hell is this not a major priority? You know, obviously they put these as the little side quests that they're working on throughout the year, or, well, there's no timeline on these things, but line of sight is crazy on some maps. Some maps are absolutely shocking. Some maps are terrible, and yeah, it's a big shame. It ruins the game. Like, you know, you can have a sniper on the flank, but he can only see 5 meters in front of him because terrain and line of sight issues. It's broken. Just fix the huge broken issues. I don't care about literally any of this. The only one that I really care about is the line of sight thing. And again, smoke should be, you know, fixing smoke and smoke hitboxes should be absolutely in there as top priorities. So another loss that smoke doesn't even get mentioned. Absolute loss there. Yeah, it's sort of strange to see, like, where are the priorities? Because there's lots of things that we all already know about that need to be done. It's just sort of, this is meant to be a roadmap, a timeline. But the only timeline we have is 2026. Like, again, as some commenters have said, the game could well and truly be very, very dead by then if these issues aren't getting fixed quicker and quicker. We need to speed this stuff up. They did say they have a bigger team, which is great, but again, I'm not seeing that much more communication output, etc., which is a little bit concerning for me. So yeah, these are the little improvements. It's hard to say because there's not much detail in them, and in the discussions, I'll be honest, I was falling asleep at that point. I'd come in straight from work, still in my combats, and yeah, I was really excited for this thing, but I'll be honest, I had to quit early because I was so goddamn disappointed. Yeah, it says a lot about the state of the game. So yeah, let's have a look at 2027. 2 years, well, okay, 1 year and 1 month from now. Okay, so let's have a look at what 2027 has in store for us. Bear in mind, that's a very long time away. We don't know how many players are even going to be playing this game at that point, and where we will all be in our lives and what games might be out, like GTA 6 maybe, which, you know, is class. Hopefully will be class. Right, faction DLC. Now, why can't they just admit that it's going to be China? I mean, it is so obviously China. You might have seen China. You might have seen this picture way back again when the game was being advertised with a Chinese symbol, and that's a Chinese tank. So we know it's China. Just admit it's going to be that. Why this mystery? Yeah, they talk about, you know, with time to go, at the start they were talking about how player base has dropped, and they were like, oh, it's natural for all games to lose player base. Yeah, very true, very true. They talked about mana lords being a good example of this, and just because, you know, player interest dropping doesn't mean to say the game is dead. Yeah, no, that is kind of where you're wrong, kiddo, because Mana Lords nobody plays anymore, and the problem is because the devs did nothing. I don't think there's been an update on Mana Lords for like a year. Great game, by the way, love it, just like Broken Arrow, but if you don't keep, you know, nursing a baby, it's gonna die, and that is really does pain me to say, and I don't want any babies to die, just to be clear. But yeah, it is obviously China, and we've known this for a very long time, that China is going to be the first major faction. So again, why are we waiting till 2027 to actually get that? Like, really? A year? A year, a month, and a week? Really? Okay, new biome and war theater. Again, China, Asia. Yeah, we get that. Lots of new maps, as you'd expect with a new biome and new theater. Of course, I think they wanted to release this with maybe a campaign, skirmishes, etc. Which is why, you know, to a very large market, bear in mind it's got the highest population in the world, or is that India these days, don't know, but yeah, large target market, so of course they're going to really try and polish this one, but ultimately I just want it out, I just want to play it already, I want to try a new faction, so yeah, 2027, that's a joke, that's a big loss. Another specialized DLC. Look, those are T-62s, which again, we already know they're in the game. Why aren't they actually in the game? A Russia allied spec. Well, it's definitely not going to be Ukraine. Yeah, we can rule that out. So who else has Soviet equipment? Well, Belarus springs to mind, doesn't it? So the Belarus armed forces, maybe, and essentially they'll just get Soviet equipment. That's, well, like Russian equipment, just even older and even cheaper. I feel like that's... yeah, that's what's going to happen. Will I still be making videos in early 2027? God damn it, I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of life plans, and being a YouTuber kind of isn't the top priority. So, yeah, really. Again, let's have a look at what some of my comments say, because, yeah, people are funny. Some people are funnier than me. I mean, it is really sad to see so much, like, disappointment from people who clearly love the game. I mean, most of these guys spend every night playing it. They love it. I love it. But it's just, it is like watching your baby die. The game is not dead yet, but it's kind of on that path. So yeah, a bit of disappointment there. Enjoy those comments. Big L for Broken Arrow. So all in all, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm pretty damn disappointed. It's just such a shame. I love this game. There's so much potential, but I don't just. It feels like things want to go in the right direction, but I'm not sure the priorities are set the correct way. I think there's a lot of things that should be prioritized over a lot of other things. And yeah, unfortunately, stuff like engagement, I mean, like this was an attempt to engage with us viewers, with us gamers, with us YouTubers, and win us over and give us hope. I don't think this has. I think, to be honest, the opposite has taken effect. People are writing that, you know, the way the gamers, the devs look, they're miserable, depressed, suicidal, some have said, made you believe that they don't care. Really, there's no passion, there's no enthusiasm, there's no drive, commitment to anything there, and it is pretty painful to see. If I could give some advice to the devs, which I'd love to hear for them to hear me out. Like, by the way, Felix, I need to call him out. He's promised me an interview for the past 2 months, right? And he's kept delaying it, postponing it. Where's the engagement there? Okay, it doesn't have to be Felix, it can be literally, they've got a big team, why not any of the other guys on the team? But you know, engaging with content creators, I mean, I feel like that's just basics, you know. Again, when you've got a baby, you want to nurse it, you want to, you know, engage it with stuff, you want to get it vaccinated, and you want to look after it, right? But it just doesn't feel like that is happening right here. Another thing, let's be honest, devs are probably not the most people person, they're not the most charismatic people, and that's fair, that's fine, that is absolutely fine, but know your limitations. I really don't get why we couldn't have got a big YouTuber like Vulcan, for example, to help present this, you know, a bit of charisma. Oh, myself, I mean, let's go for it. Myself, I feel like I would have done a much better job at selling this. You know, you just gotta have a bit of charisma, a bit of enthusiasm. Like, I think the host himself, he seemed pretty cheery, but no offense, Felix and Nikita, they looked mega depressed, and I do feel for them. I'm sure it's not an easy, well, you know, I'm in the military, that's a pretty hard job sometimes too. So yeah, okay, I don't know, maybe being a computer game designer isn't the hardest job in the world really, so why are you so miserable? I'm sure they did really well with the initial sales and commissions, etc. So yeah, be happy, keep working on this project, keep making it great. Yeah, that is my advice, and yeah, sort of plea to the devs to keep this thing going. I mean, as a sort of laugh, I asked my members, what should I rename name this video? As like, you know, the Titanic sinking, or you know, people said, what should I call my channel next? Because I don't think there's hope that I'm gonna keep this thing going. But I will be. I am determined. Like I say, the problem is that I really love this game. And like Dan said earlier, there really isn't anything close to it that compares. So yeah, I was hoping for a lot of reassurance in this little live stream, but actually it did end up with a lot of disappointment. I'm really sorry to say that. I hope you enjoyed my opinions. I hope that you leave your opinions down below in the comments below. I'd be very curious to see what you have to say. It's been fun. It's taken a while. I've actually stayed up pretty late making this. It's now 11:30. I need to go to bed, mate. I've got work at 7 in the morning tomorrow. But yeah, it's definitely very amazing to see how easy it is to suffocate something that's really desperately trying to bloom. What poetic words I leave you with tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Stick around for more great Broken Arrow content that's, yeah, that will keep going despite the issues. Bye-bye.